Thank you so much. I've been looking forward to talking with you, and I've got 2 questions for you. First, I really appreciate your analogy about the pie making and how other people can't throw things into my pie. And at work, where I sit at work, a number of people often come into my office, and I feel like, well, they want to talk about how poor their health is, or how put upon they might be. And I feel like they want to really engage me in making really stinky pies. And I've gotten more to where I'm okay with not having to please them, but I want to find a way of being gentler in shutting down those interactions.
Well, we don't want you to try to shut them down, because anytime you try to convince someone that they shouldn't be talking about something, they just try to convince you all the harder of how important it is. They'll bring statistics from all kinds of places, and they'll begin to call you ignorant and blind and uninformed, and they just come on stronger and stronger. So that is not the right approach. What we want to give you a basis of something first, and then we'll tell you exactly what we would do if we were standing there. When you've been thinking about how you feel about your life experience, about your body, about how things are going with you, and you've been focusing on it enough, focusing upon the positive aspects of what is, and using your creative ability to imagine things, so that you've really become one who is oriented toward the life you want to live, so that that's what you've got going on in your vibration. People like that don't find you interesting to talk to.
True.
But if you're like most people, you've got that going on, that's what you want, but you're irritated with those other people and what they've got going on, so you've got what they've got going on in your vibration too. So now they can get into your experience, and you might say, oh, Abraham, that's not fair. They're there because we work together and we share the same space. And we say sharing the same space and sharing the same conversations are not the same thing. In other words, you can share a space and be on enough different vibrational wavelengths with someone that you evoke different things from them. Esther was talking to Jerry the other night about different people that she knows who behave entirely differently depending upon who else is in the circle. In other words, you are highly influenced by whatever else is going on vibrationally. She laughs at Jerry. They will see someone that they have not seen for a year or 2 or 3. And while Jerry's telling one of his stories, Esther will realize that's the same story Jerry told last time they were with those people, and Esther has not heard that story since the last time they were with those people. In other words, there's something in the vibrational mix that just evokes that particular story. So what we're getting at is that if you will realize that as you clean up your vibration, they will have less access to you. And as you clean up your vibration and you practice those good feeling thoughts more, what will happen is they will just gravitate somewhere else. Jerry and Esther took their car into a shop in Austin. The drive shaft disconnect was not working, and they took it to a wonderful mechanic who fixed it. And while they were there, they were sitting in a waiting room, and Esther had her computer. She was doing work in the computer, and Jerry had a lap full of notes. They both had projects that they were working on during the 2 hours that they were waiting. And a very nice man is sitting there, and he has not brought anything to do, and he was not interested in anything to read. He wanted to talk to them, and what he wanted to talk to them about was his wife's work, and she worked in a nursing home, and he wanted to give them the blow-by-blow, very uncomfortable details of person after person in their slide of misery into death.
Okay.
And as Jerry and Esther heard almost the first words out of his mouth, they realized that this was not a conversation that either one of them were going to be very interested in. So they tried to stay very, very busy doing what they were doing, but he was very, very interested in talking to them. And so Esther said to us, Abraham, do you have any suggestions? And we encouraged Esther to tell him what she knows. And he went away. Before she knew it, he was over there talking to someone else who was more willing to talk about the way. In other words, he did not want to hear that you are the creator of your own reality. He did not want to hear that you have control over your life experience. And so Esther just kept saying, well, you know, the way I look at it is, and as she explained to him what she knows to be, which was so contrary to anything that he wanted to hear about, he could not get out of there fast enough.
Right.
You see. And so, but the question is, and this is the big question that we want you to ask yourself and that we want to point out here, do you care more about looking good with others than you do about feeling good? In other words, there are a lot of people that would rather be right than feel good. There are a lot of people that would rather look appropriate to the others. In other words, well, I don't want to seem disrespectful, and so I thought I should listen to their gory, horrible story about such and such. And what we want you to begin asking yourself is, how does this story feel? And if it doesn't feel good, then you must put your thoughts someplace else. And we promise you that when you put your thoughts someplace else, the words will follow your thoughts. And before you know it, when someone, so give us an example. We know we are at the end of this segment, but give us an example of something that someone says in their dialogue. In other words, something that they're talking about that you're hearing that's about a yucky pie that you don't want any involvement with. Give us something and we will give you what we would say if we were standing in your physical shoes.
Well, you know, it's been a long, hard road, and I've got this fibromyalgia, and every time I try to do anything, I just get slapped back down again, so I'm not even going to try anymore. And, you know, every time I come in the door, the people are so ugly to me, and why can't anybody just affirm that I might be important? And every time I wake up...
Just give it to this one at a time.
I'm sorry.
It may sound to you like they're coming at you like that, but so pick one that comes up most often, and we'll tell you what we would say.
Let's see. You know, I never got much attention when I was growing up, and I just feel like when I come in here, sometimes people, again, are just acting like, why can't they be a little bit nicer when I come to volunteer? Why can't people be a little bit more caring here and affirm that I'm important? That's what I hear from a lot of people.
Well, you know, friend, I know from the very bottom of my being that you are infinitely important. But, you know, you complain, and it makes me not like to be around you.
That does provoke some fear as to whether I would have job security at that point. I don't know if that's significant really to me, but...
Well, the thing that you want to get across to people, in other words, if they're asking, then you might say, well, are you asking me what I think it is? Are you asking me what I would do? In other words, draw them out a little bit. Are you asking me what I would do? And then say to them, you know, there are so many things about you that are so pleasant. And then make a list of them before you even get into this conversation. First time I saw you, I noticed this and this and this and this. And these are the aspects of you that I try to line up with. And so I get that part of you all clear in my mind. And then you come in and you're in one of those easily to understand uncomfortable places where we're just not meshing. And so then I withdraw, not because I don't like you, but because you're not being who in my mind you are. In my mind, you're bright, you're clear, you're intelligent, you're nice to be with. And so that's the part of you that I queue up with. And when you show up and you feel like that, then it's like I can't hook up with you, so I kind of withdraw, and then you think that I'm stuck up, or you think that I don't like you, or that I don't care about you, or that, and it isn't that way at all. It's just that there's this other part of you that I'm so liking to rendezvous with. And then as you offer that from your sincere place, that part of them will, if they care about you, will show up for you more often. And if they don't care about you, well, at least you care about you. In other words, that's what you're trying to demonstrate to them. I care so much about my alignment with who I am. I care so much about being tuned in, tapped in, turned on, that I focus upon the positive aspects everywhere. That's just what I do. And you've got a ton of positive aspects, and they are these. It's hard for people to be mad at you when you're presenting them with a list of their positive aspects.
Okay, great.
And you're not there to teach them something. You're just explaining who you are. And we promise you, talking about their positive aspects is downstream for you. Talking about their negative aspects is upstream for you. And even as you began here today, and you're talking about those people at work, those were upstream comments for you.
Right.
Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.
Yeah. And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. We're in the middle of something. Are you complete? We were waiting for that, yes.